Hello students, welcome to online classes of Shri Mahavir International School. So students, in last video we had discussed that introduction of fiber and the fabric, in which we can easily recognize and identify that which one fiber is related to the different types of fibers are there, and what is the mean of fiber and mean of fabric. And in this chapter, as I told you, that different fibers which looks like differ to each other. In these pictures, as we see, students, these are hemp, polyester, flax, rayon, silk, and the wools. Here we talked about that wool and different animals from which we can obtain the wool. Especially we talked about sheep, merino sheep, and besides that sheep there are other animals like the angora rabbit, angora goat, some yaks. They also produce the what wool. Then different animals and the different quality of wool which they produce. In this table we talked, and then we started the production of wool. So okay, today we start our chapter from the production of wool. Students, production of wool has many steps. Okay, by using the different steps we can produce the we can increase the production of wool. So first of all, we are going to discuss about that shearing process. Students, what is the shearing process? Simply we can understand about the shearing means removing the hair from sheep, any wool producing animals. Okay, like the process of removing the fur or the fleece of the sheep along with the thick layer of skin is called the shearing. So this is the simple definition of shearing. And for this process, for the shearing, we can use the different instruments like the razor and the clippers which use for the shearing process. Here is a fact, students. Let's see. Wool mark is a symbol of the quality to assure that the woolen cloth is made from pure wools. Okay. If you want to purchase a pure wool, then you have to see this wool mark, because it will represent the quality of wool. So now the second process is what? Second process is what? Scoring. What happened and what we do in scoring process? The process of washing the sheared skin with hair to remove dirt, dust and the grease using the machine or in tanks is called the scoring. Scoring means, friends, simply we can say we have to clean the dirt. Okay, we have to clean the dirt by using the different machines. After the scoring, what which process should be there? The process should be there is what? Grading and sorting. Students, sorting is done after scoring. Hairy skin is sent to a factory for the separating hairs, and this process of sorting the wool according to its texture, length, color is called the grading. So students, in grading, what do? We select the different categories of wools by their length and the color, and the small soft fiber called the burrs are separated from the hair. Now students, after the grading and sorting, there is another process, that is dyeing. Students, I hope you understand about the dyeing. Dyeing means, do you like the different colors? Yes, of course. Whenever we visit any shop, then we require the different colors in sweaters also, in woolen clothes also. Like if a person demand for the yellow color sweater, brown color, black color, okay, purple color. So is it possible to produce such a color by naturally? It's not possible. So the dyeing process take place there. So in this dyeing process, what do we do? The fleece of the sheep is usually white, brown or gray in color. To get this desired color, it is dyed in different colors. And the dyes fiber are the same for the carding, where these dyes fiber are straightened by passing them through a metal teeth. And this process is straightening the dyed fiber is termed as carding. Students, not only the dyeing, there is another process which comes which comes along with the dyeing, that is carding. What happen in carding? Carding means, do you comb your hair every day? Yes. Why do we do? Why do you do? To straighten your hairs. So therefore, with the wool, we have to apply this process. And the drying means to decrease the amount of water from that wool. So the wool is dried and sent to for the spinning into yarn. As I told you, the yarn means like a thread. For spinning, we have to send that fiber in factories, and it is then weaved and packed into bales, and longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters, and the shortened fiber are spun and woven into woolen cloth. So long fiber will be used in what? For sweater purpose, and short will use for woolen cloth. See, here different processes. Okay, in this process, what we see? The shearing process, in which a person who is removing the hair from the skin of a sheep. And in scoring process, what's happening here? Removing the dirt, okay, grease, whatever. And in carding process, what's happening? Okay, selecting the different categories of wools. And in spinning, okay, spinning, we see this is the machinery process, okay, in which spinning process is taking place. Now students, you are able to answer, but let me tell you one more thing. Here is a, okay, this is the like a flow chart. Students, by this flow charts, you can easily understand the whole process of wool production, in which first sheep shearing, second fleece scoring, third washed fleece sorting, grading, dyeing, and then the dyed fleece spinning and yarn, and the knitting and weaving, and sweater woolen fabric. Students, I think I had told you in previous video also, but again let me tell you the means of weaving and the knitting. Okay, knitting and weaving mean students, simply we can say by using single thread. If you are making a cloth, that is process is called the knitting. And weaving means by using the two threads and more than two threads. If you are making a uh, fabric, this is called the what? This is called the weaving. See, now here some questions, like the merino breeds of sheep provide the finest wool. The quality of wool differ from breed to breed, and the Kashmiri goat provide the fine fibers called the mohair. So here students, simply you have to answer in true and the false. Now students, in this chapter there was a word, what? Ball. What is the ball? A large amount of a light material spread tightly together and tied up. Now students, the silk. Students, have you seen the silk clothes? I hope you have seen, because it shines. It seems like whenever you will touch it, and if you will feel the texture of that fiber, it's very soft, and strong also. But how does it come? From where do we get that silk? For this, we will discuss the silk. Silk is an animal fiber, often from the thread-like filament spun by silkworm. Students, here is a picture of what? Silkworm. And this silkworm is responsible for the production of a natural silk. So silk is an animal fiber. Wool, silk, these are students animal fiber. Cotton, okay, jute, and these are plant fiber. So from where do we get that silk? Silkworm. And second, silk is soft and lustrous. Lustrous means it will shine. And third point is what? Silk does not conduct heat, and it is thus a good insulator and keeps us warm in winter and cool in summer. It means students, whenever you will wear these such clothes, you will feel comfortable in any kind of weather. Now here we have to discuss the life cycle of a silk moth. Students, in this flowchart we can easily understand what's happening. Here the eggs, and after the hatching of eggs, the caterpillars, okay, will come out from the eggs and will eat the food on the mulberry leaves, okay, and it will grow, and it will more grow, and by eating food it will start forming the cocoon. Cocoon is a cage, okay, in which it protect itself, and by using its neck, okay, it will create a cocoon structure. Then this is the formation of cocoon, and now that silk moth has become like this, okay, and by the breaking this cage of cocoon, it will come out from that cocoon and it will fly. So this is the simple life structure of what? Silk moth. But students, there is a question you will ask, so sir, in which state we obtained the silk from that cocoon? So let me tell you. Students, silk moth is the larva or the caterpillar of the domesticated the silk moth, and mulberry silk moth is the most common silk moth. So which is the most common silk moth? That is the mulberry silk moth. And the second one, the female silk moth, which is shorter and stouter than the male, lays 300 to 400 eggs. Okay, a female will produce nearly what? 300 to 400 eggs at a time on leaves. After some days, the eggs hatch and the black larvae or silkworms emerge. And the third one, the larval stage lasts for about the 27 to 28 days. It means, students, that the age duration of a larva stage is what? 27 to 28 days. So during this stage, the larva shed their skins for time, and this process is called molting. Students, molting is a process in which any animal changes its skin again and again. Now the silkworms feeds on the mulberry leaves and develops glands that produce the silk. Okay, because there should be a production of silk, and from that silk will produce in its body from some special grains. And the silkworm the silkworms secrete that filament from their glands, which are made up of proteins and harden on exposed to air. And this filament are deposited in layers forming a cocoon, and inside the cocoon the silkworm transform itself into a chrysalis, and this stage is called the pupa stage. Okay, when the silk moth is present in the inside of cocoon, and this stage of that moth is called pupa stage. And the silkworm continues to develop inside the cocoon and changes into an adult. Yes, in that cocoon inside that silk moth will develop itself, and the silk fiber are obtained from that cocoon of silk moth. Now the production of silk. So how do we produce, sorry, how we can